William Shakespeare. Born in Stratford-upon-Avon in 1564, 6 years after Queen Elizabeth I's coronation. Galileo Galilei was born the same year. The Council of Trent establishes distinction between Roman Catholicism and Protestantism, and England and France signed the Peace of Troyes. William Shakespeare was inspired by Geoffrey Chaucer and Plutarch. He drew from both of these writers when he wrote many of his plays, including Romeo and Juliet, Julius Caesar, and The Two Noble Kinsmen. Shakespeare's legacy comes from his many plays he wrote and how he reimagined and redefined plays during his time period. Many of his plays are still reimagined today. Some of his most famous plays are Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, Othello, and As You Like It. He also created a new form of English. Highlights in his life are in 1582, he marries Anne Hathaway and has his first child. In 1589, he writes his first play, Henry VI, Part 1. In 1599, he has his Globe Theatre built, and in 1634, he writes his last play, The Two Noble Kinsmen. Macbeth was a tragedy written by Shakespeare in 1604. The story of the play focuses on the main character Macbeth rising to King of Scotland and how he dies afraid of losing his crown. This play reflects the Renaissance because it shows how all the European countries were at war with each other. It also shows how the Renaissance had kings and noblemen. Finally, it shows how power-hungry the people of the time were and how afraid people were of losing the power they obtained. Michelangelo, born on March 6, 1475 in Florence, Italy. The Pope at the time was Leo X, and he was born the same year the baptism of Christ was finished by Leonardo da Vinci. The work of early Renaissance masters such as Ghiberti, Ghirlandaio, and Giovanni influenced him. The 17th century led a rebirth of Michelangelo's high Renaissance ideals with the emergence of the Baroque style and realism. He has influenced practically every artist to come after him. He introduced a whole new artistic style to the world. Highlights in his life are in 1503, he finishes an easel painting, his only one that has survived, of the Holy Family. In 1504, his colossal David is set up in front of the Palazzo della Signoria. In 1529, Michelangelo flees Florence and is declared a traitor. In 1546, he begins the Florentine Pietà for his own tomb, and in 1555, in a moment of anger and frustration, he mutilates his Florentine Pietà. The Creation of Adam is a fresco painting by Michelangelo, forming part of the Sistine Chapel ceiling, painted from 1511 to 1512. It illustrates the biblical creation narrative from the book of Genesis in which God breathes life into Adam, the first man. This painting reflects the Renaissance because of its heavy emphasis on religion and the transformation of art forms to realism.